afternoon, friends and family. You're back in Kat's Cooking Kitchen, and today I'm going to make some cheesy scalloped potatoes for our dinner. So I thought I would put it on video and show you how it's done. I have my mandolin here. I have most of my potatoes already sliced, and it's very important that you use your guide whenever you're slicing anything, and I can tell you that from experience because I have a scar. You can't see it. I don't think it'll show up on camera, but I took a big chunk out of my thumb one day slicing an English cucumber because it was so long, and I didn't think that it would be a big deal but my thumb slipped down the side of the cucumber without me noticing, of course. And that was all she wrote, and it was a mess. And of course I did it. There was nobody here. I was by myself, which was, not very smart. But my husband got home and we couldn't get the bleeding to stop, so we had to go to the Ready-Med and have them help me stop the bleeding. And I'm not on any kind of blood thinner or anything like that. When this happened, I just took a big chunk out of it. So I got one more potato to do. You gotta make sure this part here pushes the pad up. So you gotta make sure that that's down so that your tongs are showing, and you can punch your apple right in there. I'm used to doing apples. Your potato. We're not doing apples today, although I do have a new apple recipe I want to make for everybody in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. It's a different form of a baked apple than I've ever done. I've done similar. Okay, so now we have the potatoes done, and I need to set them over here, and I'm going to drain them and rinse them again to get the starch off of them before I start my sauce. And now we have a couple of onions, and since I've got my slicer out, I'm going to save myself some trouble, and I'm going to use the mandolin for that. And it's really handy. Put this, I forgot a trash bowl, to put this on a bowl instead of doing it right on top of the cutting board. So we'll use that to put the onions in my little garbage bowl here. Just peel your onion. Recipe calls for like 1.5 cups or something. I just think these 2 small Vidalias are going to be plenty in there. And if not, the next time I make it, I'll add more. That's how you do it. So let's get our bowl over here. These have little feet on them to help grab your bowl. So when you're scraping, it doesn't go anywhere, which is a really nice thing. And now we do the same thing with our onions we did with the potatoes. Use our guard always. Okay. Seems to have a little root piece in it, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. Oh, those are nice and thin. Those will be good. And now I had an onion already in the refrigerator that I cut and didn't need yesterday, so we're going to use this one up. I don't know why I don't get it out more often because it is so fast. There we go. And another little root in. It's not it'd be okay, but since I see it, I'm going to take it out. Here we go. And there we are. I'm going to get ready to start making the white sauce that'll go over the potatoes. And the white sauce will have the onions in it. And get ready to bake this. I have my oven preset at 400 degrees. It's at 350 right now, so it'll come on here in a minute. And this is it. Okay, let me get the potatoes and stuff taken care of, and I'll be right back and we'll get started on the next part of this recipe. Hi, welcome back. We're going to melt a stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup. It isn't salted, so I will be salting accordingly. Oops. Nothing better than butter. Okay. Get the butter melting. We're going to put our onions in and saute them. Get them going as soon as our butter melts. I need my guard. I love this pan, but it does get the handle hot, very hot. So, 1, 2. See if this will help it go on. I should have thought about it before I had anything cooking. There we go. Little non-stick cooking spray there took care of that. And this shouldn't take very long, and I'll be able to get them in the oven. Hope you all are having a good day, a good start to your week. It is Wednesday already. I can't believe it. But week has been humming right along. So, okay, here we go. Let's put our onions in. I love onions with potatoes. You cook an onion that's completely transformed, it's sweet, it's tender, so good. Nothing wrong with a slice of raw potato on your bacon cheeseburger though either, so. I've got to get half of my potatoes out, let them drain a little bit before I put them in the pan. Okay, let's get a spoonula out here. Look at these. Let's see. I used to make this so often that I just made it by heart or by memory. And it's been so long, I don't want to miss a step. So I want to tell you the right way to do it. So I brought up my recipe, and I'm cheating by reading off it. I don't consider that cheating. I just consider it being a good enough cook to know you can't remember every single ingredient of every single recipe that you make. And if you want to if you're one of those cooks that can just throw it together and it turns out, I think that's fantastic. But as for me, I don't want to take any chances. Okay, now we need to put the garlic in. And that's 4 cloves of garlic. And 1 teaspoon here is about a clove. So we're going to do 3 heaping. Now we're going to cook that around until everything gets tender. And then we're ready to thicken and make our sauce with milk and some seasonings. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on this since my butter wasn't salted. And of course, potatoes take a lot of salt, but we'll salt those separately, salt and pepper those. So, okay, this is going to simmer for just a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back and we'll finish this up. You hang in there. This is a recipe worth waiting on. It's really good, really good. Happens to be raining here in Northeast Indiana right now. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of rain or just a quick rain, but it's pouring right now, so we'll see what's going on later. We could use a little bit of rain. Just don't need buckets full. The crops around here could really use a drink, I'm sure. Everything's growing around here pretty nice. So I love to see all the corn, the soybeans, wheat, and all that stuff when it comes up. The hay fields, oh, I love the smell of fresh mown grass. So when they're baling hay, it's like all senses are on full-blown go because it just smells. It smells so good. It just smells like summer. So hang on, I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Just getting ready to finish off the sauce for our scalloped potatoes. I've got half my scallops. It seems it's going to be a pretty full load when we're done here, but that's what it said. This is 3 pounds of baby Idahos. That's what I call them when they're real little. They didn't have any of the small potatoes like Yukon Golds and stuff, and I didn't tell my husband that red potatoes would work too, so he brought me these, and they've been here a little while, so need to finish them up, get them used. And this was the first thing I thought of, was to make some scalloped potatoes with them. So this is going to be, oh, so good. So good. Here we go. Now we're going to slowly add in our milk. Get that. I have it all pre-poured over here. Also calls for a cup of chicken broth. So we'll get that in also. Dribble it in, turn around, you can see it's thickening up as it heats it up into the hot mix we got there with the onions, the garlic, the butter. Just keep whisking. Okay, there we go. Doesn't take long for that milk to heat up when everything you're pouring it on top of is hot. The milk is set out for about a half hour, so it warmed up a little. It wasn't refrigerator chilled. Okay. And then we pour in our chicken stock, 1 cup, 2 cups of milk. Oops. And we're going to let that simmer a little bit. Right over here. Clean up my milk I spilled. Okay. I have my other half of the potatoes drained, ready to go as soon as we get this where we want it as far as thickness and cooked down. And like I said, we're going to get this ready, and it's our cream sauce, or white sauce, what I call it, to pour over the potatoes. And then we'll cover it with half our cheese. Well, half of this will go over these. Half our cheese will go on top of that. And then the other half of the potatoes, and then the other half of the sauce, and the other half of the cheese. Then we're going to cover it with aluminum foil and bake it about 30-35 minutes. That's why I like my mandolin so much, because it makes all the slices uniform, and they're very thin, so we shouldn't have any trouble getting them to cook. When you do them by hand, you can't get as equal a cut on all the potatoes. And there were a lot of potatoes in 3 pounds of those little baby Idahos, so that would have taken me forever. I left the skins on because I didn't want to peel little tiny potatoes. And I don't mind the skins on. I like the skin. That's where a lot of your vitamins and minerals are at, not in the meat of the potato. Okay. All right, this will take another minute or so. I'm not going to make you watch that, but you can see it's thickening up a little. Just needs a little bit more. And then we're going to finish this off and get her in the oven. I'll be right back. Hi, back again. Our sauce is looking really good. I'm going to put in a little bit of dried thyme. I don't have any fresh thyme, so I'm just going to use the dried. Just a sprinkle across the top like that is fine. You'll be good. While you were gone, I got my foil out, and I salt and peppered the first layer of potatoes. Now this could get messy. Let me get a hot pad or two. Make sure I don't make a mess. Okay. Now, whoa. Well, that wasn't good. I forgot about that stupid handle. Oh, well. Sucks to be me some days. I don't think it'll make a lot of difference because it's going to go down in through the potatoes anyway. So, we'll do what we've got here. Okay, we're going to put some cheddar cheese over the top. It's not quite enough. A little bit more down in that sauce. We're also going to put about a handful, probably a quarter cup maybe, of Parmesan on top of the cheddar. Now I'm going to get my potatoes and bring over. I'm draining on some paper towels, so they'd be a little drier. I think I better get a pan to set these on in the oven in case they do bubble over. Make a pretty good sized mess in the oven, so try and avoid that. Put the rest of those on there. I can see scalloped potatoes in our future for the rest of the week, unless I can find somebody to give some to. That's always nice to be able to share. I hope you guys share, those of you that like to bake. I know it's a lot to ask. Stuff is not cheap, but I have a real hard time cooking for just 2 of us. So I just give it away or we eat it for several days. So, here's some last of the pepper. There we go. Now, let's see how much sauce Gotta watch what I wear. These sleeves have a great big bell on them, and I'm catching them. So those are a no-no when I'm in the kitchen. Got to remember that. Okay, so this is starting to thicken up pretty good here. So it's not going to be spreading as well as I'd like. But there, you learned a lesson. If it has a plastic holder on it like that, take it off before you want to pick it up because the thing will spin. And I lost a lot of my sauce underneath. Don't think it's going to hurt anything though. We will know when we see the finished product. Oh, looks so good. Okay, here we go. We're going to put some more cheese on. Just half a cup or so on each layer. Maybe just a little more than half. I don't have really very much left in the bag, so we'll just put it all in there. Get a nice cheesy top to it, if nothing else. And then a little more of our Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle that over our cheddar and let it melt right in there. It's got such a nutty, salty flavor to it. So I didn't add too much salt to anything. I think that'll be plenty. So I got the regular foil out, and I think I changed my mind. Since the pan's so full, I think I'll use my non-stick so the cheese doesn't just stick. Okay. As you pull it out, this is the shiny side, the non-stick side, I should say. They're both shiny. And you're going to cover it up tight. And we're going to put it in the oven and just wait for it to cook. So, like I said before, this is Kat's Cooking Kitchen. Kat's Cooking Kitchen. Everything's done live. There's no redos. So if I goof up or make a mistake, you're going to see it on the video. Unless I spill the whole meal on the floor, and then I guess I'll delete the video because there wouldn't be anything to see. So I'll be back just as soon as this comes out of the oven. So y'all hang on now.